Hey y'all, can I just say something that might ruffle a few feathers? Somewhere along the way, we decided that the only way to have a home was to take out a 30-year mortgage and build a house bigger than we need. But that ain't how people did it for most of human history. And for a lot of us, that dream just doesn't fit the reality anymore. Now we're doing something different, something simple. We're building a tiny home for our daughter and grandson, one paycheck at a time. No loan, no mortgage, just grit, family, and a plan. And in this video, I want to show you how we're doing it and how you can too. So today we're going to talk about building your own tiny home, slow, simple, and on a tight budget. Not only is it possible, it's how it's always been done. It's raining again today, which is honestly perfect because this kind of build doesn't happen in perfect conditions. I'm Kevin, and this is AskPawPaw, where we build real life, one project, one paycheck at a time. Right now, I'm building a tiny home from scratch for my daughter and grandson. No loan, no contractor, just family, a little grit, and a whole lot of learning. Some days it rains, like today, and sometimes we wait. That's the reality of building one paycheck at a time. Some weeks we can build, some weeks we just gotta wait until the money comes or the rain stops. Today's a good day to talk through how folks can build something great without going broke. So let's talk through why we chose this path, how we're making it work, and how you can start building your future the old school way with what you have and where you are. My daughter is a single mom doing her best to raise a kind, smart little boy. And like a lot of young families, she's trying to survive in a world that just keeps getting more and more expensive. Angela and I didn't want her locked into rent or buried in a mortgage. We wanted her to have something solid, something that was debt-free, and something that she could actually breathe in. And that's why we're doing this tiny home one paycheck at a time. It's not fancy and it's not fast, but it is doable, and it keeps her future bills low, which is one of the best gifts that we can give her. It isn't just about shelter, it's about peace and about long-term stability for her and my grandson, and it's about doing it without becoming a slave to debt. Let's be real for a minute. The idea that you have to get a mortgage and build some big modern house with granite countertops and a two-car garage, that's a pretty recent invention. For most of human history, regular folks like us built homes with their own two hands using whatever materials were around them. They didn't order prefab trusses or wait 6 months for a delivery from Lowe's. They walked outside, they looked around and said, okay, what do I have and what can I build with it? In Africa, people built round mud huts with thatched roofs, packed tight with straw and clay. In the Arctic, the Inuit families used blocks of ice to form igloos that were warm and insulative, and it was built to stand brutal colds. In the American Southwest, they made houses from adobe, which was the sun-dried bricks that stayed cool in the heat. Here in North America, settlers and indigenous tribes used logs, bark, stone, and even sod, depending on what was available. The Lakota Indians used wooden hides for teepees. They were portable and strong. The pioneers used whatever they could find. Log cabins, dugouts, even homes built right into the side of a hill. Why? Because people have always built from what they had, not from what they wish they had. It wasn't about impressing anyone. It was about staying warm, dry, and safe. And that's something that I think we've lost. Now, before starting this build, I went down a rabbit hole, researching all kinds of alternative building methods. I'm talking cob homes made from sand, clay, and straw mixed together. Cordwood homes where you stack logs with mortar, kind of like you're making a brick wall. Earth bag construction, that's literally filling bags with dirt and then stacking them like Legos. Straw bale houses, tiny timber frames, rammed earth walls, you name it. I've probably researched it. And you know what all these methods have in common? They're simple, sustainable, and they're built with local materials by people just like us. So if someone tells you building your own home can't be done, they're just not thinking back far enough. And that brings me to the part I want to encourage you with. You don't need a loan. You don't need permission. You just need to start with what you've got where you are. Let me show you how we're doing it. Here's how our system works. Each week when payday hits, we look at what we can afford. Some weeks it's $100 worth of concrete mix. Some weeks it's a few 6x6 beams. Some weeks it's just time spent planning and prepping. We're building with cash, not credit. We're building with patience, not pressure. And we're building with purpose, not panic. We just poured our foundation pads, roughly 90 bags of concrete, one bag at a time, and we've leveled the site with chert. We're working our way towards framing up the floor next. It's slow, but it's solid, and every piece of it is paid for. You don't need a $30,000 build loan. You need a budget, a plan, and a reason. You don't need permission. You just need to start with what you've got, where you are. That's the whole spirit behind what we're doing with this whole build. We're doing traditional materials, lumber, concrete, gravel, nails, but we're using them in a non-traditional way. Small, simple, paid for in cash, one step at a time. You don't need a 2,000 square foot house with vaulted ceilings. You need a roof that doesn't leak, walls that hold in the heat, and a place to cook and clean and rest. If you start with that and build out from there, you can do it affordably without digging yourself into a financial hole. And instead of dropping to $20,000 to $30,000 all at once, we're spending a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there. Every time a paycheck comes in, we look at the budget and we say, okay, what's our next step? What can we afford this week that moves us forward? And that might look different for everybody. For us, we just finished up the foundation. Next week, maybe it's framing up the floor. The week after that, maybe nothing, because sometimes the budget just needs a little breather. And that's okay. This way of building forces you to be thoughtful. It teaches you patience, and honestly, it gives you a deeper sense of ownership and pride when you see it coming together, not because you bought it all at once, but because you built it piece by piece. And you don't have to use the exact same materials that I'm using. Use what's around you. Scavenge, salvage, reuse, reimagine other people's stuff, just like folks have always done. Now, I get it, sometimes the hard part isn't building, it's finding the stuff to build with. So let's talk about where to actually source affordable materials when you're working with limited funds, because that's where most people start to panic. They say to themselves, how am I supposed to afford all this stuff? But here's the thing, you don't need a truckload of brand new lumber from the big box store. You need resourcefulness, you need eyes that see possibilities in what other folks overlook. Some of my best finds have come from places that you might not expect. Architectural salvage yards. I've seen solid wood doors for 20 bucks and century-old trim that just needs a little sanding. Flea markets, estate sales, and even curbside cleanouts. Don't be afraid to slow down and look twice. Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, people are constantly giving away lumber, windows, doors, even full sheds or carports that maybe they just want you to take apart and you can take it with you and reuse. Habitat restores, these are gold mines. They got cabinets, sinks, light fixtures, flooring, sometimes still in the box, and the money goes to a good cause too. Sometimes it's as simple as keeping your eyes open. Like for instance, I got it covered up because of the rain here. But this whole stack of pallet wood I got just because somebody was giving it away on the side of the road. One time I picked up an entire stack of pressure treated 2x6s because a guy was tearing down his old deck and he didn't want to haul it off. All I had to do was show up with a trailer and a smile. And when you start building this way, you realize something important. The world is full of building materials. You just have to look at them differently. And that brings us to the next challenge, because even if you find the right stuff, you still got to know how to use it. So let's shift gears and talk about what you really need to build something solid. Not just tools, but skills. And the good news, those skills are more accessible now than they've ever been. Here's the part that stops a lot of folks in their tracks. They say, but I don't know how to build. Well, guess what? Neither did I. I didn't grow up swinging a hammer or running wire. I learned by doing, slowly, one skill at a time. And I'll tell you this, there has never been a better time in history to be a beginner. You need to learn how to frame a wall. There's hundreds of step-by-step videos on YouTube from pros who walk you through exactly every cut, how to do it. If you don't know how to plumb a sink or install a breaker box, guess what? There's a video for that. Actually, probably 20 videos for that. You can pause, rewind, and watch it again and again and learn at your own pace. I once fixed our dryer and saved a few $100 just by watching a 10-minute YouTube video. I just had to replace a little thermal fuse. Same with my cargo trailer camper build. Every single step I looked up what I didn't know. And it's not just YouTube. There's online courses almost for everything. Platforms like Udemy, what's it called? Coursera, Skillshare. There's all kind of classes on carpentry, solar design, electrical basics, even sustainable building methods like earth bag and cob, like I was talking about earlier. You can also find PDF plans and ebooks, entire free websites that are dedicated to homesteading, tiny homes, off-grid living. There's tons of channels just like mine. The truth is, if you've got a smartphone and a little determination, you've got a teacher in your pocket. And the more you practice, the more your confidence is going to grow. You're going to start small. Learn how to measure and cut accurately, right? Practice joining two boards together or driving screws together. Build a little bench or a raised garden bed. Something small, something to build your confidence. Then build something bigger. You don't have to go to trade school or carpentry school. You just have to be willing to learn, and you got to mess up a little bit and then try again, because once you've got the know-how and the materials, you're going to still need one more thing, and that's a little help. Let's talk about building your support system. Let's say you've been learning, practicing, and you're feeling more confident, but there's one more piece that makes all the difference in the world. Don't try to go it alone. Even if you're building paycheck to paycheck, especially if you are, a little help can go a long ways. Find a neighbor, a cousin, a friend from church, maybe even someone from your local Facebook group. You might be good at plumbing and they're good at roofing. So guess what? Trade a weekend, help each other out. Maybe someone's got a nail gun that you can borrow and you've got a trailer that they can use. There again, help someone out. Or maybe it's just a second set of hands when you're lifting a heavy beam. That stuff matters. I've built a ton of stuff with my wife's help, and she's not necessarily that great at swinging a hammer, but she's awesome at holding the other end of the board, and sometimes that's all you need. I'll be honest with you, some of the biggest progress that we've made on our own builds has been because someone showed up to lend a hand. Not because we had the money, but because we had the people. And that's why I started the Porch Community. It's a completely free community. It's full of good folks just like you and me, people who are learning, building, sharing tips, and encouraging each other. We've got retired electricians, we got single moms, all sketching their first floor plans. We got folks who've lived off-grid for 10 years and people who just found the channel last week. It's not just a forum, it's a support system. So if you've been trying to figure all this out by yourself, come join us. You'll find real people, real ideas, and maybe even a new friend or two who will cheer you on when things get a little tough. Because here's the truth, when you combine a little bit of knowledge, a few affordable materials, and a strong support network, you're already halfway to your own tiny home. You can join our community over at AskPawPaw.com/porch. So here's what I want you to hear today. You don't have to wait on a mortgage or a windfall to start building your home. You can start right now with what you have, where you are, and that's how it's always been done. And it still works. If this encouraged you, give it a like and subscribe. I've got more videos coming every week about how we're building this tiny home from scratch for my daughter and grandson. And if you're trying to plan your own build, I've got a free budget tracker template that you can grab at AskPawPaw.com/tinyhomebudget. And it'll help you kind of stay organized and stay realistic and keep track of what you're spending. Until next time, I'm Kevin, and I'll see y'all on the porch.